But I think somehow that made our relationship grow stronger. And so now she listens to me like I wanted to listen to me.
You see that reaction? That reaction is because he's like,
I'm an abused man. I'm an abused. You saw it. You saw it on by yourself. It's on film, ain't it, Randy? It's on film. This is a dangerous woman. Look at those nails, man. They're sharp. You should see my back.
oh, please. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm so excited.
Nice to meet you.
We're so excited to have you here. This is going to be Banking on the Banks. I'd like to introduce you to your new favorite couple. My name is Gloria Mayfield
and
Banks.
I'm Ken Banks. And we're happy to start this podcast, our first episode. And,
I know.
And how do we get started on this?
We just started talking, and then people started asking us questions.
People always ask us questions.
Always ask us questions.
How do we do this? How do we do that? You know, and how do we stay so happy all the time? And how do we do business? And all these how-to, right? And so we decided to really talk about it and start this podcast.
Yeah, so we want you to join with us. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be a journey, and we're so excited that you're including us in your life, and we definitely want to include you in our life. It's just an honor to be here and to talk about things like relationships, business, success, leadership,
sports, staying in shape, longevity, all kinds of things we want to talk about. Right.
Yes. So we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves, a little bit about where we ventured from. It was exciting for us to grow careers together. It was exciting for us to blend a family together. It was exciting for me to move down here to Baltimore to be with you.
Yes, exactly.
OMG.
And so we tell them we got married, and you were in Boston, and I was here in Baltimore, but you had a child in school, and so you too, but you stayed in Baltimore. In Boston, and then it took a year to move back to Baltimore, even though we were married. So we've had a long distance relationship for a couple of years before we got married, and then even after we got married, it was a long distance relationship.
You guys
so people
wait to the stories.
What is going on with these folks here?
Until you hear the stories that we weave throughout this podcast. I will tell you, he's the funny one.
Just put the pressure on me.
What am I?
You're the straight.
I'm the straight
man.
Okay. Okay, I'm the trusting one,
yes.
and you're the.
No. I'm from New York. We kind of don't trust people, things. It's not what we do.
People nor things.
Right.
We travel around the world. We're really big travelers. What's the number? I think we're at
60-something countries.
66 countries around the world, and we love to travel. We love to do more. We love to bring you in to that. We love entrepreneurship. It's been an awesome journey of successful entrepreneurship.
Yes, we've both been in different careers, but we've both been entrepreneurs for quite a few years now, and we've had great success in that. And he's had
great views.
And we've talked about being successful and how to be successful and whatever. And so we want to talk about all of that.
Yes, I was talking about has a lot of great views sitting on boards and different types of boards that you've sat on. So I've loved reaching in and watching you excel. So it's going to be exciting for everyone else to get a bird's eye view. We want to talk with you guys. This is not a one-way conversation. We want you to write comments down there. We want to hear from you. What is it that you'd like to hear from us? Because this journey is going to be with us, the community of what we do and how we do it and how we're excited about things.
So, but it all came from really coming to this point in our lives and wanting to help, wanting to do whatever we can to help people's lives, help people live. It's tough out there now. It's a lot tougher than it was when I was growing up. It really is.
We talk about this all the time. That progressive commercial about the parents and don't become the parents. Do you remember our parents saying, it's tough out there. We don't know how we're going to make it. We're tough out there. So we're excited about this new world because every day it's a new world. Every day it's a new venture. Every day it's something new that's going on. So we want to tone in. We want to hone in. We want to hone in with you and bring you along with us as we travel. And we want to know what's going on with you.
Thanks for watching. We're gonna be here for quite a while.
Yes.
We're gonna do this, and we're enjoying it already.
Yes.
That's like we enjoy everything.
Yeah.
So Gloria, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself? Tell them where you came from. Tell them about your family life. Tell them about your sisters and all that.
Okay, well, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I knew they knew I was from the Midwest. You could tell I have the Midwest glow. So I was born.
Oh, really?
Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Parents were phenomenal. Grew up in a phenomenal middle class family, and my parents were just shy of 62 years married when my father passed. And my mother lived a long time as well. Both of them. He was 88, she was 92. So that was pretty phenomenal. I have 3 sisters. I'm the third of 4 girls. When I was in the 7th grade, they found out I was dyslexic. So I have a reading disorder. And we're going to talk a little bit about those challenges. I went all the way through high school.
Oh my God.
Don't start. This is about me right now.
I'm just saying. Oh my God. Can you spell this to me? Can you spell that to me? This is all of that stuff.
Oh yeah. I asked him, I said, can you spell special for me? And he looks at me and says, special. I said, I know how to say it. How do you spell it? Okay, that would be me. That would be. But I took those challenges and went on to Howard University, and I was there for a couple of years. Then moved to Boston. Then I started at Polaroid Corporation, and went on to go to school at Harvard Business School and got my MBA there. That's when my world changed, and I went into sales.
When I first met her, Harvard.
Oh my gosh.
I went to Harvard University.
I want you guys to really keep a ticker mark about how many times he interrupts me when I'm talking and how many times I do not interrupt him when he's talking. And this about our relationship is all about respect. My respect of you and your
non-respect
lack.
of you.
Okay, lack of. That's what you would be, lack of. Okay, so anyway, that would be me. And I started a sales career. I built an entrepreneurial business with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I love the experience of being number 1 out of 3.5 million women worldwide, built in 9 international countries, and all the while having a phenomenal husband, second marriage, which has been amazing because my first marriage was 10 years of domestic violence. And then I became a single parent of 2 beautiful children. And now we blended those kids together, and it's been phenomenal. We share 5 grandkids. Juliana is my eldest, and then Chauncey. And they live in Atlanta, and one lives in Detroit. And then Ken's going to tell you about his kids, and then we're going to tell you about our kids. Tell them about yourself.
Well, so I'm from Yonkers, New York, and grew up in much different circumstances. Now, she grew up in a middle class, a house, gardens, yard, all that kind of stuff. I grew up in the housing projects of Yonkers, and was the only child for about 9 years, and I have a younger sister, and it was different for me. It was a lot of fighting in the house when I was growing up between my mother and father. My father was an alcoholic, and so I just couldn't wait to get out of that situation. I couldn't wait to get out of that house. Even at 9 years old, I was saying, "How old I got to be to get out of here?"
Yeah.
And so, that's true. And so it was a different kind of environment. I think that it was. I could have went one or two ways. There was a lot of crime, a lot of drugs, even back then in that area. And but I was lucky enough to go to a good school, and it was a Catholic high school, and wasn't a lot of tuition, so I was able to go. And I was kind of mentored by a track coach, so I could outrun anybody in the school. And he wanted me to be on a track team, and I sort of followed that direction. I loved sports and athletics, and I kind of followed that direction. But that helped me to get out of the projects, out of Yonkers, into a school on a track scholarship where everything was covered, and so went to Adelphi University in Long Island, New York, on a full scholarship, and graduated in 4 years. Along the way, I became an entrepreneur. I started.
Tell about the parties.
I did some parties.
What were they called?
Well, some of them were called cold duck parties. That's what you remember. Party. There's a bottle of cold duck. Come in there, get a bottle of cold duck, right?
I used to go to those parties. I went to the parties at Howard, and you were throwing them at Adelphi.
I was throwing them at Adelphi, right? And so we did about 40 parties in 4 years just to pay for ourselves. Because there was no money coming in. Even though you're on scholarship, you do need to eat. You need some things. So there were 4 of us, and we ran these things. They were very successful, and that whetted my appetite for being an entrepreneur. And so we started Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity at Adelphi, brand new chapter. So a founding member of a new chapter at Adelphi. So that was amazing. So went on.
Show me the handshake, baby. Show me the handshake.
Show
me the handshake.
I can't really show you.
Show me how it goes.
I'll show you later.
No, you won't.
No, it's like you can't show the handshake. It's a secret handshake. Only between alphas, baby. Did you join the sorority?
No, you find me.
Too bad for you. So look. So then I went to work for a company called Mutual of New York, and which was an insurance company. It's now defunct. But at that time, it was a large company. It was a national company, not it was a national company. And in 1975, I believe, I was Rookie of the Year. So all the first year salespeople that were hired in that year, I was the number one, and had a great office in Manhattan, right across the street from Bloomingdale's, overlooking North Manhattan and Queens. It was an amazing
You
place.
must have loved that
I loved life. I loved that life. I loved going to the office. I go to the office for anything, And it was 24/7 access. I had parties there on the weekend. That's a whole nother story.
Oh my God.
Did that, but I had to. I knew that it wasn't for me. I knew it wasn't something that was in my heart to do. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the bravest decisions of my life at that time was to say, you know what? I don't know what I want to do in life, but I know that this is not it. So I had to leave. Mm-hmm. And when I left, now see, this people, I can't believe I'm saying this on a podcast, but I basically became a hippie. And, it's true, right? I mean, what's true is true.
What is a hippie?
A hippie is somebody who just kind of hangs out and and drinks.
I don't even know if they know. Don't even use that term anymore.
Okay, so let me not use the term. So let me just say that I got a tent and a sleeping bag, and I had a car, and I just began to drive around the United States of America with a big old beard, and I go from state park to state park, and whatever state I happen to be in, I go from there. And in Canada, I went across Canada several times. I was in provincial park in Canada to provincial park. So for a year and a half of my life, I lived outside by choice. I lived outside, mostly in wooded areas, and really it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And it was the bravest decision of my life when I left that company that I was doing very well financially with. In my family, I was probably doing better than anybody else in the family, or close to it. And so you got to make the decision. Right. This is not what I envision myself to do.
As the first
this is not making me happy, And so many people stay in their jobs because they're making money at the job, but it's not making them happy. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're a physician, but you really want to be a mechanic. You can't be happy as a physician when what you really want to be is a mechanic. Right. And that's where I was. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just left. And, so long story, I wound up getting a job on a construction site, just carrying wood back and forth. But I learned to love it. And when I came back to New York, I worked for a company for a year and a half or so, learned some of the skills, and I just went off and started my own company, my construction business, which started on, for one-man business to, at one time employing over 70 people and doing business in Baltimore and having my name attached to skyscrapers and hospitals and banks contracting, was doing all this great work. And so that was great. And also became the treasurer of the Maryland Democratic Party. And I was, I've on all these boards, and so many boards. I think
who are your famous? Who are the boards that are most special to you?
Okay, the two top would be the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Yeah, that was a great board. That was an international board. People from all over the world on that board, and it's the #1 school of public health in the world. That was great. Also being on the board of shock trauma, which was the #1 shock trauma. And the University of Maryland Shock Trauma was #1 shock trauma. I mean, great. It was a great place, great to be associated, and great to to help to support those kinds of efforts. And also, of course, I just the chair of the board of the Federal Reserve Bank in Baltimore, and that was being a part of a board of directors for the Federal Reserve is an amazing thing, and to help direct the position, where the country is going economically. That was quite an honor to serve.
And you're still all up in it. You're still all up in it. He loves every bit of it. Loves all of it. I love the fact that our careers were very, very different, but so aligned, and it made our relationships so aligned. And now you do a lot of mentoring. I do a lot of mentoring online with women. I do a lot of keynote speaking. You travel all over the world doing so much international financial negotiations. It's so amazing that we are so tuned into each other's careers, although they're so very different.
They're so very different, but some of the basic philosophies are the same.
Yeah.
Some of the basically, you gotta, how do you introduce yourself to people? How do you make friends in business? How do you work hard? And what are the things that you do and that we've developed together? And we both, so when we met, Gloria was doing something for Harvard, right? You were
I was at Harvard and Mary Kay.
You were doing some admissions for Harvard, and then doing Mary Kay, and she was just coming up in the Mary Kay business, and I was just coming up in my construction business.
We were like this.
Yeah, right. Teeny, tiny. Right over the course of the years, we both grown, and she became number one in 3.5 million women. I think that's pretty phenomenal.
But when we met, I had a girl and a boy. He had a boy and a girl.
Right, exactly. And so we blended those families and over the course of time, and so now they're all grown.
Kenan and Virginia. Kenan's
great.
in New York.
Yep.
Kenya's in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
She's got 3 girls in Atlanta. Shanti has 2 boys in Detroit.
Right.
So we're all over the place all the time and absolutely love our life. And absolutely love it.
Yeah. So what happened? So we're here in near the Baltimore area, in Maryland, and near Baltimore, and but our kids are nowhere around. I mean, what do we do? Everybody's complaining about, our kids are staying with us. We can't get rid of them. We like, well, when our kids turned 18, they were gone. I don't know what happened. We got two girls living in Atlanta and New York and Detroit. They're all over the place. But they're all doing very well.
And we see them a lot.
We see them a lot.
We do see them a lot.
They're
it's never enough, but we see them a lot.
There's one entrepreneur, and Kenya, she's doing
3 there's a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, 2 girls entrepreneurs. and one son in New York works as a director at Microsoft, doing very well, and the other son's a partner at a law firm in one of the biggest law firms in Detroit. I mean, they're just doing crazy stuff, but they're not here. They're like, we're out of here. No, bye.
But however, you know what? When we celebrate 26 years of marriage, when we celebrate taking a long distance relationship and blending the relationship, blending the careers, on top of blending very busy family members, our kids were busy. We blended them at the most busiest time in their life, middle school, elementary school, on up through high school. We blended all that together. We made it work. We hired the right kind of people to work with us, for us, and to help us make this thing work. So we're excited to share all that with you, because when I tell you, when some people slow down, when their kids are gone, it's just the opposite for us.
Yeah, we speed up.
I mean, banking on the banks.
Right.
We operate the speed of lightning. In fact, the other day we said, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, because we're just that busy, but we're having that much fun.
There were times when we were, in business, and Gloria was traveling all the time, one place for another. I was traveling someplace for another. We'd be apart for over 100 days a year, different cities all over the place. But I think somehow that made our relationship grow stronger. And so now she listens to me like I want her to listen to me.
You see that reaction? That reaction is because he's like,
I'm an abused man. I'm an abused. You saw it. You saw it on by yourself. It's on film, ain't it, Randy? It's on film. This is a dangerous woman. Look at those nails, man. They're sharp. You should see my back.
Oh, please. We're going to talk about some advice. Like some of the key things that have made such a difference. Like, for real, now I am absolutely in love with teaching women about being stronger leaders, teaching women about brand optimization, team optimization, leadership optimization. So many women are here and doing great. They see more for themselves. They just don't know how to push over. And with our conversations that we talk about a lot, and with my experience, it's been an awesome thing to pull that together and lift people up larger. But if you were to give, let's say, start with you, just one piece of life advice that you have given to a lot of people that you live by, what would it be?
Stay in the gym.
Stay in the gym. Let's talk about stay in the gym. Get in the gym. You don't even talk about get in the gym.
I'm not
you get in the gym. Stay
I'm
in the gym.
assuming you're already in the gym.
And never leave.
Just don't leave it. That's
right.
what
Tell us what that's done for you.
Well, I'll say that. So I've been a part of medical boards and all that kind of stuff, and I look at so many diseases, and you look at what helps, to either alleviate that disease or prevent it from happening, or helping the symptoms of it. Exercise. It's almost everything. So I'm thinking, well, if that's what it takes to be healthy, let me just why not? So basically I exercise every single day. And so when I tell people to stay in the gym, and so I do a thing online, Official Ken Banks, and it's really talking about, I go through workouts and I talk about working out, and I'm just trying to encourage people to, if I can do it, then you can do it. If I'm 70 years old and I can do this workout, anybody can do the workout. You know what I mean? And so I just talk about that. And I've had so many people in their 20s, because the gyms that I go to, ain't nobody my age.
Right, that's right.
They're all 20 and 30, right?
Right.
But so many people in their 20s have come up to me and they've said, I'm just so impressed or whatever. And then they start talking about, my grandfather, what, get past that. What's your question? My grandfather's your age, and he's in terrible shape. He can't even barely get off the couch, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know that people your age could look like you and do the things that you can do in this gym. I didn't know it. And so I'm changing people's lives.
What about when you jumped on that box? How high was the box when you jumped from the floor?
Well, I did a 36-inch box.
I love that part.
36-inch box.
I must have watched that thing.
We got it on film somewhere, and we can show that. Maybe we can show that on the gym. But I mean, 36-inch drop. Normally it's 30 inches. I do a boxing for 30 inches. Do that 10 times or whatever, just to keep that explosiveness. There's a lot I can talk about. I don't want to start talking about that. But that's one of the things in terms of that. But you always get questions like, what about relationships? How do I find a girl or a guy? Those kind of things. There's so many people come up and ask those questions, and so you want to give whatever you can give, whatever that situation is, you want to be able to, from your experience and the people that you want to be able to give that answer, what can be done.
One of the things that when you talk about our relationship, we talk about respect and how we've used respect to sustain our relationship. One time you said that, we can count the number of arguments that we've had, on our hands.
But it's increased dramatically over the
But if I were to say a piece of advice that I would give to people all the time, that I have to give to you on a regular basis, like every half an hour, is emotional management. You need emotional freaking management, okay? You need to manage your emotion. You need to manage it over and over again. And if it's not your emotions, it's something else you need to be managing. But I do deal with a lot of women who want to move forward. There are a lot of successful people, period. They lose the opportunity to grasp what's in front of them because they can't see it because their emotions have taken advantage of them and made them go down a strip they would not have gone down had they wanted to manage their emotions.
And so, an example of that would be carrying anger. You carry a person that carries anger. It's hard for them to move forward when you're living in the past. Yeah. In order to move forward, you got to look to the future. You have to have a vision for where you're going. You have to have a vision for the future. But when you're living in the past, and anytime you're living in regrets or you're living in anger or all those things that happened to us when we were little, and some of them, I'm not saying they weren't horrible, but if you can't get past living them, then that's where your life is. Right. And somehow we have to learn how to move past that and move into the future.
And they need to know that everybody has those circumstances. It's not just you. It's not just this one. It's not that. Everybody has life circumstances. So instead of saying in that place, like, I can't believe that happened to me. I can't believe that happened to me. What are you going to do about it? Because something else is going to come. You're either going into a problem, you're coming out of a problem, or you just finished a problem. Right. I mean, that's everybody. So,
that's everybody, right.
If you can hold tight to that, you don't have to sit in it all the time.
Yeah. So I think that's good advice.
That's good advice.
Gloria, how'd you get that watch?
Okay. You want to talk about the watch? This watch right here? This watch that is surrounded by diamonds? Are you talking about how I got the watch? Or the fact that I suggested you buy me the watch? Or that you came up with this amazing gift to give me this watch that I told you I really wanted? What part of that do you want me to uncover?
So here's the thing. We don't surprise each other with anything,
We don't.
We don't surprise her. She hates surprises. I don't
like
mind,
them.
But she hates them. It's okay. You don't like surprises.
I don't like them.
When people come up and say, "Don't tell Gloria this," I say, "Oh no, she gotta know. She gotta be."
Don't surprise me. It does not delight me.
Not surprise her. She doesn't like that. But I don't know. So we've exchanged watches. So I gave Gloria this watch on whatever. but I call it her Lifetime Achievement Award.
I got this watch. I was so excited. It was like, oh, I just absolutely love it. And that's exactly what he said. I hope you love it because it's your Lifetime Achievement Award. If I like something that you don't necessarily love, you either help me get it done or you go with me. And if you want to do something that I don't necessarily love, you get it done and I want to support you to have that experience.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I have to have the experience with you. What would you say you did?
I would say
Flex.
I would say it's, if you could just be quiet for a minute, I would say it's our humor, you know, yeah. and so that might be a part of what you're saying, but I'd say it's our, what are you doing? You're pulling. I would say it's our humor because, I mean, I remember times when we just laughing and you know, other people on a bus, like, you know, remember on a bus with people, and we're over there cracking up, just me and you just laughing.
The whole bus is quiet. The whole bus is quiet.
We're screaming and yelling. We're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know? And then we know there's this thing about energy. That's the thing. So do you remember when we went to the Olympics in Athens?
Yeah.
And we were watching, I think it was a women's basketball team against the Australian basketball team. And there was a crowd, a bunch of people from the US, a bunch of people from Australia. And every time the Australians would score, they would be like, yeah, the whole crowd would go crazy. You know, the Australians would get up, they'd be clapping. And when the Americans would score, you'd be like, crickets, nothing, you know? And then the Australians score, and it's, as they should, you know? And the Americans score, nothing. So I looked at Gloria, she looked at me, I said, look, we gotta do something about this. We gotta do something. So the next time the Americans scored, two of us jumped up, yay! Just two of us, right? Screaming, you know. And then the next time they scored, we jumped up, By the third time we did that, about 15, 20 other people got up, they started clapping, right? And by the fifth, sixth time, every American was standing up, yelling and screaming, cheering for their country. So, you know, that was contagious, baby. Contagious. You can make it happen. You can spread your germs, or you can spread your enthusiasm or your charisma.
Right.
So that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Right. Exactly.
That's why you're your favorite.
Yeah. Baby. So let me tell you why I have these glasses on. I'm not trying to be Hollywood.
Oh, please.
I am trying to be Hollywood a little bit. But my eyes are very light sensitive, and I've had a lot of problems, especially with my left eye. And so I'll take them off so they can see. So, but it's hard for me I can't look that way in the light. I got to kind of keep them on. It gives me and I'm not frowning. Sometimes I feel like I got to frown. So the glasses help to protect my eyes from the lights, from the cameras and all that kind of thing, especially under the lights here and outside, of course. So that's why I wear the glasses. And,
I love you in the glasses.
Thank you so much, baby.
I think you look extremely attractive.
Do that again.
Yeah. Glasses. Y'all need nothing else but the glasses.
That's all I need. That's all you're going to get.
Other than that $3,000 a month that I want for clothes.
We're going to talk about that. Okay. I've already agreed to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. We're so glad to have this podcast with you. We want you to subscribe right here. We don't want you to miss a thing. We want you to share it out and let people know that we're going to be dropping something every single week. Follow me on Instagram at Gloria Banks. Follow him.
Instagram, Ken Banks, official Ken Banks.
Yes. And you can find us. Tell us where they can find our podcast.
They can find us on Spotify. They can find us on YouTube or Apple. Any place that you watch podcasts, you'll be able to find us there also.
Yeah, you see that little thumb up? Hit it. Let people know that you liked it because you are working with your favorite couple right here as we are. Banking on the Banks.